Intro. Great Discoveries. How Scientific Breakthroughs Changed the World. What if one idea could reshape everything? Join us as we explore the moments when scientific breakthroughs didn't just advance progress, but redefined the very rules of our existence. The Revolution of Reason. Following humanity's first steps in understanding the world, we dive into a turbulent yet fruitful era, the Revolution of Reason. This was a time when people dared to challenge the status quo, completely transforming our understanding of humanity's place in the universe. For centuries, Earth was believed to be the center of the cosmos. This geocentric model, developed by ancient Greek philosophers and solidified by Ptolemy, seemed logical and aligned with everyday observation. The sun, moon, and planets, everything revolved around us. However, in the 16th century, Polish astronomer Nicholas Copernicus introduced his heliocentric theory. He proposed that the sun was at the center of the solar system, with Earth and other planets orbiting it. It wasn't just a new equation, it was an intellectual revolution. Copernicus's idea, published in his work on the revolutions of the heavenly spheres, initially sparked cautious interest but soon triggered a wave of change. Next came Galileo Galilei. Using his improved telescope, Galileo saw what no one had seen before: mountains on the moon, the phases of Venus and Jupiter's moons. These observations directly supported Copernicus and dealt a blow to the geocentric model. But his findings clashed with the established beliefs of the time, leading to his famous conflict with the Inquisition. Nevertheless, truth, like light, always finds a way. Almost simultaneously, German astronomer Johannes Kepler, analyzing data collected by Tycho Brahe, formulated his laws of planetary motion. He showed that planets move in ellipses, not perfect circles, and that their speed varies with their distance from the sun. This breakthrough eliminated the need for cumbersome epicycles, making astronomy more accurate and elegant. But the true architect of this new scientific worldview was Isaac Newton. In the late 17th century, he unified these discoveries and created a universal system explaining the motion of both celestial bodies and objects on Earth. His law of universal gravitation and three laws of motion, outlined in Principia Mathematica, became the cornerstone of classical physics. Newton demonstrated that the same laws govern a falling apple and the moon's orbit around the Earth. He showed that the universe isn't chaotic, but follows strict, measurable rules. These discoveries revolutionized science, philosophy, religion, and art. They proved that the world can be understood through observation, experimentation, and mathematics, not just dogma. Humanity was no longer at the center of the universe, but gained something far greater: the ability to unravel its mysteries. It was the dawn of reason, laying the foundation for all subsequent scientific and technological progress. Did you know how a few brilliant minds overturned centuries of beliefs about the universe and laid the foundation for modern scientific thought? Are you ready to journey into an era where reason challenged dogma? After Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton reshaped our understanding of the universe, it was time to apply this new knowledge to transform daily life. The 18th and 19th centuries became the era when energy, literally, began to drive the world. We move from the revolution of reason to the revolution of energy, the age of steam and electricity, which laid the foundations of our modern civilization. Let's start with steam. The idea of harnessing its power was known for ages. but it was in the 18th century that it became a reality. Thomas Newcomen created the first atmospheric steam engine to pump water from mines. This was revolutionary. But the real breakthrough came with James Watt. While repairing a Newcomen engine model, Watt realized its flaws and invented a separate condenser. This improvement significantly increased the steam engine's efficiency, making it economically viable for widespread use. Watt's improved steam engine became the heart of the Industrial Revolution. It powered factories, replacing manual labor. Soon, engineers like George Stephenson adapted the steam engine for transportation, creating locomotives that connected cities and countries, revolutionizing logistics and population movement. Steamships crossed oceans, accelerating globalization. The world became faster and more productive, thanks to the power of steam. But if steam was the muscle of the industrial age, electricity became its nervous system. Early experiments with electricity, Franklin, Volta, offered glimpses of its potential. The real breakthrough came with Michael Faraday, who discovered electromagnetic induction in 1831. He showed how to generate electric current using magnets and coils, laying the foundation for generators and electric motors. Turning scientific discovery into everyday reality was a challenge. Here, Thomas Edison enters the picture. His invention of a commercially viable incandescent light bulb and the creation of the first centralized power plants made electricity accessible to homes and businesses. However, Edison's direct current DC system had limitations. Enter Nikola Tesla, who developed the alternating current AC system. AC could be transmitted over much longer distances with less loss, enabling vast power grids and the electrification of entire regions. The impact of electricity is immense. It gave us light, transformed industry by making it more automated and efficient, and enabled new forms of communication. Electricity became a catalyst for countless innovations that changed our lives beyond recognition. These energy breakthroughs accelerated progress and laid a solid foundation for the technological advancements of the 20th and 21st centuries. Without them, our modern world would be unimaginable. This changed the world forever. The power of steam and electricity didn't just power machines, they reshaped human civilization, making our modern life possible. The medical revolution. If previous breakthroughs changed the world around us, the next impacted the core of our existence, life and health. For centuries, medicine was more art than science, often helpless in the face of disease and epidemics. But a series of discoveries in biology and medicine changed this, giving humanity unprecedented capabilities for healing and understanding. Let's start with Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch, who revolutionized the 19th century by proving that microorganisms cause disease. Before them, illnesses were often attributed to bad air or miasmas. Pasteur's experiments with fermentation and pasteurization disproved the theory of spontaneous generation, showing that invisible bacteria cause diseases. Koch, in turn, formulated postulates to identify pathogens, discovering the tuberculosis bacillus, for example. This germ theory of disease became the cornerstone of modern medicine. Based on this theory came one of the greatest breakthroughs, the discovery of antibiotics. In 1928, Alexander Fleming accidentally discovered that the penicillium mold could kill bacteria. But it took over a decade for Howard Florey and Ernst Chain to develop methods for mass-producing penicillin. This wonder drug saved millions of lives during and after World War II, turning deadly infections like pneumonia and sepsis into curable diseases. The antibiotic era drastically changed the world's demographics, significantly increasing life expectancy. Equally important was the development of vaccines. As early as the late 18th century, Edward Jenner showed that infecting someone with the less dangerous cowpox could protect them from deadly smallpox. This was the beginning of immunization. In the 20th century, mass vaccination campaigns led to the complete eradication of smallpox, the first and so far only human disease to be completely defeated. Vaccines against polio, measles, diphtheria, and many other diseases have saved countless children from suffering and death, preventing epidemics. But understanding life wasn't just about fighting disease. In the mid-20th century, a discovery truly revolutionized our understanding of life itself. The structure of DNA. In 1953, James Watson and Francis Crick, based on the work of Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins, presented the double helix model of DNA, the molecule storing all genetic information. This discovery explained the mechanism of heredity and opened the door to genetics, biotechnology, and genetic engineering. We began to understand how our traits are coded, how organisms develop, and how we can influence these processes. These breakthroughs in medicine and biology, from understanding microbes to decoding the genetic code, haven't just extended our lives, they've improved their quality. They gave us tools to fight invisible enemies, prevent suffering, and deeply understand what makes us alive. It was a transition from fighting for survival to meaningfully managing our health and future. Just a century ago, a simple scratch could be life-threatening, and a child's cough could be fatal. Millions died from illnesses we consider minor today. But then science gifted humanity with incredible tools of salvation. The information revolution. Having learned to manage energy and fight diseases, it was time to master something equally fundamental: information. If the 20th century began with industrial might, the second half and the 21st century were marked by an unprecedented revolution in data processing and transmission. This is the information age, starting with a tiny component and culminating in a global network that connects the world. It all began with an invention that seemed modest but became a giant: the transistor. In 1947, John Bardeen, Walter Brattain, and William Shockley at Bell Labs created a semiconductor device that could amplify and switch electronic signals. Before this, bulky, energy-intensive, and unreliable vacuum tubes were used. The transistor was smaller, consumed less power, and lasted much longer. It was the first step toward miniaturizing electronics. The next breakthrough quickly followed. In the late 1950s, Jack Kilby of Texas Instruments and Robert Noyce of Fairchild Semiconductor independently developed the integrated circuit, the ability to place multiple transistors and other components on a single silicon chip. This allowed for the creation of increasingly complex and powerful electronic devices, reducing their size and cost. Soon came microprocessors, essentially the brain of a computer on a single chip, heralding the era of personal computers. The personal computer isn't just a machine. It's a tool that democratized access to computing power. We went from bulky mainframes occupying entire rooms to devices that could sit on everyone's desk. Companies like Apple and Microsoft made computers user-friendly, turning them from specialized tools for scientists and engineers into part of the daily lives of millions. The ability to process text, create graphics, and perform complex calculations became available to anyone with a personal computer. But the real transformation occurred when these computers began to talk to each other. The idea of a global network originated in the 1960s with the ARPANET project, initiated by the U.S. Departments of Defense. The goal was to create a decentralized network capable of functioning even if partially destroyed. A key moment was the development of TCP-IP protocols, which standardized data transmission, allowing different computers to communicate. However, access to this network was complex and required specialized knowledge. Everything changed with the advent of the World Wide Web. Developed by Tim Berners-Lee in the late 1980s and early 1990s, he created HTML, HTTP, and the URL system, and then the first web browser. This made information easily accessible. The Internet went from being the domain of scientists to a global platform for communication, commerce, education, and entertainment. From the transistor to the Internet, this journey changed everything. It gave us instant connection to any point in the world, access to vast amounts of information, new forms of work, learning, and leisure. The information age continues to evolve, and its impact on humanity only grows, shaping the world we live in and that we have yet to build. Just 30 years ago, sending a message to another continent took days or weeks. Today, it happens in fractions of a second, and there are over 5 billion internet users worldwide. How did technology that once filled a room become accessible to everyone and change our lives forever? The future of discovery. We've come an incredible way, from early observations of the stars to decoding the code of life and creating a global information network. But what's next? If the past was full of amazing discoveries, the future promises to be even more exciting. Science never stops, and new breakthroughs are happening now that will one day be considered as great as the invention of the wheel or the discovery of electricity. Let's look ahead. One of the fastest growing and potentially transformative fields is artificial intelligence, AI. We already see AI changing our lives, from recommendation systems and voice assistants to self-driving cars. But this is just the beginning. The next stage promises breakthroughs in artificial general intelligence, AGI, capable of learning, understanding, and applying knowledge at a human level, or even surpassing it. This could revolutionize science, medicine, engineering, automation, and even art. But ethical questions arise. How to ensure safety, fairness, and control over such powerful systems? Alongside AI, humanity is again looking to the stars. Space exploration is experiencing a new renaissance. We're not just dreaming of colonizing Mars or lunar bases. It's becoming a tangible goal. The development of reusable rocket systems is lowering the cost of access to space, opening the way for private companies and ambitious projects. The future holds not only manned missions to other planets, but also in-depth study of exoplanets, the search for extraterrestrial life, and the development of new energy sources and resources from space. We may be on the verge of becoming a truly interplanetary species. Another area where we can expect discoveries is in biotechnology and genetics. Having decoded DNA, we've learned to read the code of life. Now, we're learning to edit it. Technologies like CRISPR allow us to precisely alter genes, opening the door to treating genetic diseases like cystic fibrosis or sickle cell anemia at the most fundamental level. In the future, this could lead to preventing cancer, slowing aging, and even enhancing human abilities. As with AI, this raises ethical dilemmas. To what extent can and should we interfere with human nature? Don't forget materials science, quantum technologies, new energy sources like fusion, and the study of the human brain. Each has the potential for breakthroughs that will change our lives as much as the steam engine or antibiotics. The future of science isn't just a collection of technological gadgets. It's a continuous process of expanding our knowledge, seeking to understand the world and ourselves more deeply. It's the promise of solutions to global problems like climate change, resource scarcity, and disease. And while we can't predict exactly which discoveries will be the next great ones, we can be sure that the human mind, driven by curiosity and the pursuit of progress, will continue to create wonders. Imagine the line between science and science fiction blurring before our eyes. Be inspired by a future where artificial intelligence, space exploration, and biotechnology don't just change the world, but recreate it. Outro. We hope this journey through the great scientific discoveries that changed the world inspired you. If you want to explore the amazing stories of human genius and the breakthroughs that shape our future, subscribe to the Epoch Echoes channel and like this video. Together, we'll continue to discover new horizons.